It's time to work on Land That I Love, our first block in the Star-Spangled Beauty Ladder Quilt. This block is on page 13, and I have the background fabric and applique fabric, both backed with fusible interfacing and the batting. And for this project, I am going to be using muslin as my stabilizer. And when I use muslin, I cut strips to fit the different hoop sizes that I use, and I leave the whole strip attached. This way, when I bring my design into the embroidery machine to stitch, I can move it all the way down in this case and stitch out the block and cut where the block ends and save maybe 4, 5, 6 inches of stabilizer. And that way it adds up over time, and that's just how I've always done my stabilizer, whether I use muslin or no-show mesh. So let's get started on our first block. Now, while I normally use embroidery software to merge my background quilting and my embroidery file, for this first block I am going to use the designs as they came with the project. I do have my USB attached to my little pigtail cord. I mentioned that earlier. I always put my USB in a cord, and the cord is plugged into my machine. That way, when I take this in and out, when I work on my embroidery software and add designs, I am not putting extra wear and tear on the port on my machine. I will select embroidery and go to my USB. And when you purchase this project, the embroidery files are the files that come with the actual project, and that is this middle folder. The quilting bundle is made specifically for this project. However, that is an additional purchase from Kimberbell.com. And then I have another folder that is called Combined Files, and that is a folder that I made that I will use when I merge my background and my embroidery files when I start using software. But for this first block, I will just use the files as they come purchased from the project as well as a quilting bundle. I will first need to bring in my background quilting, so I will select the quilting bundles folder, and this uses stars 11 block by block, and this needs the 6 by 8 design. I will select that and hit set. Now I will go to add, go back to the USB, and this time I will choose the embroidery files folder, and I need to find Land That I Love, which is right here, and I will select that design and hit set. And both of those are centered in the hoop, and I am going to select embroidery. Now I do want to note, I'm going to go to settings, and on my machine I have the 8 by 12 inch hoop selected. However, I do not have an 8 by 12 hoop. So I have a 7 by 12 that I use, and in my machine I do not have a 7 by 12 choice. And so I always will select the 8 by 12 when using my 7 by 12 hoop. However, what I always do is once I have my design set, I need to make a change. And I make a change for two different reasons. The first is because this is technically, the machine thinks I have an 8 by 12 hoop. I am going to select layout and move, and I am going to move my design all the way to the left, and that little bit is just going to compensate for my machine thinking that I have a larger hoop. So I hope that that makes sense. And then because I have my strip of muslin, which is my stabilizer, coming off the back or the top of my hoop, and the point of leaving the strip all attached is to save on stabilizer over time, I am going to move this design all the way down so that when this design is done stitching, I will have, you know, maybe 4 or 5 inches that I will be able to save. I will be able to cut the stabilizer off and it will still be attached to that whole long strip. Again, this is something that most people don't do. You don't have to do it. You can, of course, cut your stabilizer to the size of your hoop, but this is just the way I've always done it since I've been embroidering. So now that I have the design set up, I will select OK. And then I always like to come to this minus plus needle. And this gives me the option to go forward or back steps or stitches. Let's say if my thread breaks and I need to back up a few stitches to restart, or I want to skip a whole step in the design or go back for whatever reason, I'm just right there. And so I like to be right on this part of the settings. One more thing I'm going to do, since I am doing this block exactly like the directions without using software, I am going to use the larger size batting and do all the steps again as the directions say. And I forgot to mention this in the prep video. So here is the batting that I cut exactly to size. And here is the piece that I'm going to go ahead and use today. So you can see that my batting that I use and cut is, of course, smaller. And I don't think I mentioned in the prep video that if you do not choose to cut your batting to size, then you would just cut it about an inch or so larger than the quilting background size. So instead of, say, a 4x6, you might cut it 5x9. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you what the directions call for when making the blocks. So the first thing I'm going to do is stitch out the placement for the batting. So here is the batting placement line, and I am just going to place my batting so that it covers all of the placement, and then I will run the tack down. And the next step is to trim right next to that tack. I want to show you the size that I will use from here on out on the next blocks fits exactly in that placement line. And so I, and future blocks, will not tack this down because it's that exact same size, but the quilting will, you know, keep it connected to the stabilizer. And so that's why I choose to normally skip this step, but this is the way that the directions call for. So now I'm going to run the placement for the fabric. So here is the placement for the fabric, and if you look at our fabric, it is so much larger that I just feel that this step is not needed. And so again, in future videos and blocks that I do, this is a step that I will also skip. But you can, of course, run all the steps and put that placement line. So now it's time to place our fabric over the batting and tack it down. You can tape or use spray. A lot of times I will use a spray, but it stays pretty well. So let me run the tack down of the fabric. And now it's time to do the background quilting. Run on the placement line for the heart. When I get ready to place applique fabric, a lot of the times I will just use a temporary adhesive spray. I like either the Ganold KK100 or the 505 temporary spray. And I will just put a small amount of spray. I have just a little box off to the side so that it doesn't get everywhere. And then I will just place this and run the tack down. And now I'll run the decorative stitches. Last step for this block is the embroidery of the words. So let's finish this up. First block, and I wanted to show why I like to keep my stabilizer, again, whether it's muslin or no-show mesh or even wash away stabilizer, any type, attached to a big long roll or strip instead of cutting it to the size of my hoop. So I moved this down all the way to the bottom of the hoop, and you can see that it will eventually be cut off about right where this tack down is. And you can see how much I will save if I were to have cut my stabilizer, to the size of my hoop. It would have been cut about right here. And that is a good 6+ inches. And so I know that that seems kind of like, why bother at 6 inches? But doing that just a couple of times, I have a whole nother hooping worth of stabilizer still. Again, that's something totally optional, and that's, of course, not what most people do. So it's time to get this out of the hoop and cut. Block out of the hoop. I am going to remove the basting stitch or the tack down stitch of the fabric. And I use the orange pop rulers to cut my blocks to size. And so I don't need these basting stitches as guides. And one of the reasons I decided to take the basting stitches out is because I can then cut my stabilizer, which is my muslin, right next to the batting, so that when I go to sew the blocks together, there will be no stabilizer or no muslin in my seam allowance. So first thing I'm going to do is remove these basting stitches. So I've taken the basting out, and so now what I'm going to do is turn this over and kind of fold back, and you can see the batting right here, and I am just going to cut the stabilizer right next to the batting tack down line. So now you can see that there is no stabilizer that will be in our seam allowance. Our seam allowance will be 1/4 inch out, and the stabilizer is removed all the way back to the batting, and that just helps lessen the bulk when we sew the blocks together. So now I'm going to go get this pressed and cut to size. Now that I have it pressed, I'm ready to cut this to size, and I am going to use the orange pop rulers. I think these are really invaluable if you are working on any Kimberbell projects. However, if you don't have these rulers, I would leave the basting in and use that as a guide, but you need to double check the finished size that this needs to be cut to. Sometimes when you do the background quilting and all of the embroidery, sometimes it pulls those basting stitches in and they aren't quite true to size. So if you use the basting or the tack down of the fabric for cutting, double check your size before just cutting on those basting stitches. Now what I like to do is flip the block over, and I can see, you know, where the batting and my stabilizer end, and so I am just going to center this ruler right over and have equal amounts on, you know, all sides, and then I will just cut around and our block will be cut to size. This block will measure 6.5 by 8.5. I also find that a really good rotating mat is so helpful. I use the Martelli. This is my favorite rotating mat. That way I don't have to move my block and maybe, you know, mess things up. But a rotating mat is something really good to have. And you can just hear those ball bearings and how smooth they are. So once I get this cut, sometimes I don't quite get to the edge with this ruler, and I'll just finish those little threads off. And we have our first block done.